Hey, my fellow golfers, coming at you today to discuss the elbow and that nagging elbow pain. If you've had either pain on the inside of the elbow or the outside of the elbow, today I want to talk about how it happens, why it happens, so as a golfer you can reflect on, hey, do I have any of these things going on? And if so, then you can address the root cause. And that's really what we want to get out to. When we're helping our golfers, we want to get to the root cause. We don't just want to give you Band-Aids. So if you're a golfer that's been dealing with inside of the elbow pain or outside of the elbow pain, not been able to play back-to-back days, perhaps not able to practice as much as you want, or have had to take time off, this video is absolutely for you. My name is James Ashcroft. I'm the owner and founder of Tour Physio and Performance in Easton, Massachusetts, where we help golfers of all ages move better, gain speed, and shoot lower scores while staying healthy doing it. So I wanted to come on here today and talk about, as we get in the off season, certainly this video has relevance for two groups of people. Number one group is for people that are going to start doing a lot of practice, make some changes. The second group of people are for those of you that have played this summer and this late fall and are just dealing with nagging pain and it's not getting better. So I like to tell my golfers there's two simple reasons why we can have pain in our elbows. One is more physical and then the other is more technical. So let's go into the physical reasons. Physical reasons can address around limitations in flexibility. If we don't move well from somewhere, our body likes to take the path of least resistance. Rob Peter to pay Paul, if you will. So do your wrists move well in both directions? Do your forearms move well in both directions? Do we have full elbow motion? Does our shoulder rotate well? Does our torso rotate well? Okay? And do our hips rotate well? If we're having issues in any of those main centers, but specifically let's talk shoulder down or neck down, our elbow is going to take a lot more force because we're going to try and get the club somewhere, and because our body doesn't move well to do it, our forearm, our elbow, our shoulder are going to have to get torqued more to get the club in the quote-unquote right position or the best position for us. So we always want to go through a mechanical and physical screen to make sure you've got the flexibility in the right places. Okay, so let's say you've done that. You're like, James, you know what? I'm flexible in all the right places. Great, what's the next step? Well, the next step is making sure that we're strong in the right places. How's your grip strength, left to right? How's your forearm and bicep and tricep strength, left to right? How's your shoulder strength, left to right? What we can find is, in a number of golfers that we get to work with here, is that we have some issues in our shoulder strength. Maybe it's driven from the neck or a past shoulder injury, and they're having a hard time maintaining their shoulder and elbow angle into their downswing, and that can torque more force on the elbow and forearm, make those forearm muscles work harder, and make you not feel good. So, right, have we got physical flexibility, and do we have the appropriate strength in our upper body and forearms to allow us to swing the club as aggressively as we want, and do it as much as we want? So there's a couple of mobility and strength issues that we look for. Obviously those bring about a number of swing faults that put torque on the elbow. The next piece of relevance really comes down to some forearm and mechanical things. Are we over gripping the club? Are we just death gripping the club? For those golfers that aren't playing a ton, let's say a couple times a week, if you've got tons of wear patterns on your grip, that's a really good sign that you're gripping the club way too much. Now, obviously, if you're playing 7 days a week and swinging a bunch, you're going to go through your clubs a little bit. You're going to go through the wear and tear process anyway. But if you're not playing that much weekly, but you get a ton of excessive wear on your grip, it likely means you're gripping the club a little too tightly, which puts extra force on both forearms and creates more compressive load on the forearms overall, which will make it more likely for those tissues to break down. All right, so that's one reason, right? Gripping the club like crazy. Number two would be any change that's significant in grip. So if you've gone from a weak grip, right, to a strong grip or vice versa, those changes affect what kind of strain and stress we put on the muscle groups of our forearm and our elbow, our bicep and tricep, and right, which is loading it in a different way. And that can lead it to be more prone to break down. So if you've gone through some big changes and then rep them out a bunch, you can start getting some nagging aches and pains, and then it's just hard for them to go away. Numero tres, right? So we've gone through over gripping, we've gone through grip related changes. The third one we go through today is whether you're shallow at attack or steep, right? So meaning angle, if you've heard of angle of attack, right? With irons, we tend to be more down on angle of attack. Everyone's kind of runs a gamut, right? But if we're really down on the golf ball, so making steep divots and our low point's way below the golf ball, and let's say certainly if we've changed that, right? Because we wanted to compress the ball more or something like that, that could certainly lead to a lot more reverberation stress up the forearm and elbow and beat us up there. Especially if you're practicing on firm surfaces, over time it can make our elbows more prone to getting beat up, breaking down, and giving you pain. Okay, and last but not least, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about this. The number one cause really is repetition, is overuse, right? So we've got the bad mechanical pieces, right? So maybe poor grip setup, maybe over gripping. But then if we're doing a ton of swings, right? over a number of days or even weeks, that's when we start to lead a breakdown, right? So for guys that go on big trips, play 4 or 5 days in a row, member guests, and then, or practice a bunch, that's when the elbow starts to break down. And for most of us in season, it's really hard to rest. We don't want to rest, so it just continues to linger, and then we're in no man's land because it just hasn't got better and the tissue's in this state of disrepair. If that sounds like you, right, a bunch of repetitions, even though you move well and you've got some other good things going on, you just need some treatment. You need to give some time off, and you probably need to see somebody to help get it better. If that's you, don't just be on an island thinking it's one day going to get better. It will need some TLC to do so. For my golfers, hopefully you found this information helpful. Hopefully it can give you some perspective. If you're dealing with pain, you can kind of rack the brain and think, why are any of these apply to me? If you have questions about any of this stuff, reach out to us. We'll be happy to help you. And of course, this topic is so much more expansive than what I've covered today. There's lots of reasons why your elbows can hurt, but I wanted to go through some basic ones for you. Hopefully you found this helpful.